with yet another minority death by a police officer or officers. We're hearing the cry again about racist cops and we need to do something and they should be thrown in prison and all this kind of thing. And I tell you what, the reason nobody's come up with a solution is because it is a very difficult problem. You see politicians, they're looking for home runs. They want the quick and easy thing that they can do and look at me, look what we did. But to take on a multifaceted problem like police violence, there's just no wonder that they're not tackling it. Here's some ideas. Here's what I think are part of the root of the problem based on what I've observed. Number one, police officers get conditioned into racism. I don't believe that any police officer goes to the academy thinking, I get to arrest black people or kill black people or beat up Mexicans or anything like that. I really don't. I think people are inherently good, and I think they go with good intentions. I think the conditioning that happens over their job is what gets to them. One of my friends from high school, his dad was a cop in LA for many, many years. Super nice man, much older than the rest of our dads. And I remember we were watching an episode of Cops, and they sent a German Shepherd in the back seat of a car to get a black guy out of it. And he said, and I just quote, "That's right, get that nigger, pull that nigger out." And I was like, what did he just say? And, we talked about it, and it was just years of seeing minorities and arresting minorities in crime areas. It conditions police officers that you see a minority, you see a bad element. And it's not necessarily true. They can see just as many white people. It's the conditioning they go through. And unless you've been a police officer or unless you've watched The Clockwork Orange and truly understand that, you don't know where they're coming from. So here's what I think. We tried just getting mad at the cops and throwing them in jail and firing them and all of these things, and it doesn't work. Ask Baltimore. They stopped patrolling those neighborhoods. We can't just let it go and not do anything because it's just going to keep happening. So because it's a multifaceted approach, there's also another thing. They look at it minorities, but is it really minorities? It seems like it is, but it has more to do with poverty and areas with not a lot of money. Whether you're minority or white, it doesn't matter. The areas that are just getting in trouble all the time are the poverty areas. And America's no different than any other country in that respect, at least in my opinion. So how do we tackle this problem? Well, number one, we need to either change what we're asking our police officers to do, or we need to pay them and educate them like the doctors that we're asking them to be right now. When they show up on the case, when they show up in a scene and adrenaline's heightened, they have to be judge, they have to be jury, they have to be counselor, they have to be therapist, they have to be psychiatrist, they have to be psychologist. And I'm pretty sure we don't send our police officers to school to 10 straight years just to be that person. So we either need to scale down the scope of their authority or expand their education. Now that's one thing. The other thing we need to do, in my opinion, is change their shifts. We can't expect police officers to be working 12-hour shifts, okay? I know it's the 4 days on, 3 days off type thing. I don't think the brain is meant to function for that many hours at that level. So we need to change our shifts, and I really believe that as part of that reconditioning, that 1 week a month, these officers do community service. They reach out to the people that they're serving and protecting, and they get paid for it. That's part of their job. 3 weeks serving and protecting, 1 week just serving in the community. They also, we need to scale down their job, keep their pay, or give them a serious education, pay like super geniuses to be police officers, and pay them like doctors if we're going to educate them like doctors. The other thing we need to do is make sure that they're getting time to decompress and recondition themselves to love the people that and understand the people that they're serving and protecting. They need more vacation time. They need time to decompress and step away. They need time to right their brains. And then we as a community need to do something about our impoverished neighborhoods. What do we do about that? I don't know. That seems like it should be an easy thing for a politician to fix. unlike the other things, which is not easy. But this is a multifaceted problem. There's multiple things at play here. And we're asking our police officers to be way too much and expecting too much. And then when they fail, when they fall, when something like this happens, we want to throw the book at them. I really think that the people to blame are you and me. And we need to step up for our police officers. And in doing so, step up for our communities that they're supposed to be serving and protecting. And help them fall back in love with the communities that they're serving and protecting. Pay them for what we're asking them to do and educate them for what we're asking them to do. I know what's going on right now is divisive. I understand. And maybe you don't want to hear this from a white person. I get it. I don't know everything. I just know why this problem isn't being handled right now. It's hard, and nobody wants to tackle hard problems. I hope somebody sees this. If you agree, forward it, pass it on, retweet this. Maybe somebody will pay attention. Maybe somebody will look at it and say, maybe he's onto something there. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyways, we're praying for the family of the man that was killed, and we're praying for our police officers and all the people in this country, and minorities, whites, everybody. I believe that God made us all equal, and I know that it seems like we're not all being treated equal. Anyways, God bless.